I'm trying to keep things as light as I can doing videos here lately. I've been enjoying doing some that are a little bit more fun. I'm probably laughing at them more than anything else, but whatever, that works too. That's not nothing. But it occurs to me this I've been having some tooth issues. Actually, I've been having some for a long time, but here recently, just some jaw teeth issue, pain, and the whole the whole medical situation in this country is terrible. And in a manner of speaking, the tooth, you could argue that the dental part is even worse. It's just not as all encompassing. Obviously, a lot more can happen to you in the medically than the whole dental thing. It's just teeth and that's it, pretty much, for the most part. But you get the insurance, and even if you try to max out on it, it pays nothing. You completely overwhelm it in no time, unless you have perfect teeth. And I've never had, my teeth were pretty good for a while. I probably never went to the dentist as much as I should have. I don't know what the normal amount was, but it seemed like I kind of undershot it. But I think I must have been grinding my teeth in my sleep or something. I haven't taken care of my teeth like I should have. But it seems like they're a little bit worse than they should be, especially with as much money as I spent already. The ones giving me the most trouble right now, ones I've already had work done. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I probably put around $10,000 worth of dental work in since in past about 7 years, I'd say. Three different dentists. The last one I had local to here, it was the strangest thing. They just stopped answering my calls. Everything just cut me loose. I don't know what happened with that. I thought they were great, and then that happened. But it's so much money. It's so much money, and there's getting to be this new trend to where, it was like this with school, and work kind of mirrored school. If you're going to miss a day, you better have a doctor's note, for the most part. You run out of days that you can just not feel good and not show up, which I have a whole argument with that. But let's just leave that aside for now. Let's focus on the excused absences. They've been hitting that kind of hard here recently. I don't know if anybody's aware of that. And there's even politicians, I think there's some in Tennessee, as a matter of fact. I'm not sure where this was. It seemed like I heard of one guy was in Tennessee. And they're trying to make doctor's notes not be excused. I mean, at some point, it's like, how much more are you going to take? Because my last workplace, I think this one might be the same way, unfortunately. They gave you some sort of points or something, even for a doctor's note. So you start to rack up these points, and they'll say, oh, well, it looks better if you got a doctor's note. It looks like it's counting the same to me. And then the leverage there is you have to use your vacation pay, which you don't have much of unless you've been there forever. And then you run out of that, and now what? And by the way, dentists don't count, like even as much as the doctor's notes do. And that job worked 5 days a week, and it was normally 8 hours, but they throw overtime on you at any moment. And dentists don't stay open that late. A lot of doctors don't. So you have a heck of a time making an appointment. I guess you might could pull something off if you worked a second or third shift. But if you're on first shift, you're doomed. You can't even make a doctor's, appointment. You certainly can't make a dentist appointment. And that's going to count off on you anyway. And I missed some work due to dental pain. Had to, there's one particular time, one of these little fake teeth that they put in collapsed. And I literally I had it in my hand and showed it to a supervisor, a team leader, like, I've got to go. And lost the rest of that day's work, and of course it cost a whole lot of money. It's a sick situation. It's to me, it's it demonstrates that the employer, the default feeling towards you is they hate you. I mean, they just don't like you at all. If you cause them if you're any kind of liability, if you're anything but production, and they hate you anyway because they have to pay you anything, they'd rather not. And there's a lot in that particular place, as a matter of fact, had carryovers. They had these, closest I've gotten to being physical with an employer in a while. But you still see these supervisors and team leaders and people like that halfway act like they're going to square up with you. They act like somebody's angry daddy. It's like, I'm grown, right? You can't talk to me like that. I mean, they love to do this thing too, and I've seen men do this with women, and it always sends me through the roof. Where it's pretty much, the situation is, if you're going to do that, you're going to make me mad. Okay, then what? I'm going to make you mad. Then what's going to happen? Explain it to me. And, and it just, to me, that's insulting anyway. But I end up thinking, even when they're talking to me like that, I end up thinking, this is the type of guy that would do this with women. He'd raise his voice. So there's a lot of men, not to get too distracted on the point of this video, but there's a lot of men who don't have to physically abuse a woman. The little threat, the vague threat is there. And that's that same sort of thing. Because they have power over someone. So it's this vague, suggestive threat. And, I don't know if a lot of employers understand this. The supervisors and people like that who don't even rank all that high in the company. What do you think you're doing? If you fire somebody for some stupid reason and you succeed in causing them financial ruin, how do you think they're going to feel about you? I mean, if they're spiraling down to nothing, if they have a thought in their head about you and they know where you are, what do you think that thought's going to be? I'm not saying this is a good thing to do. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But, back to the whole medical thing, speaking of that, mental health is terrible in this country. It's terrible in this state. I'd watched enough videos and things about it, and there's some things I want to get verified about myself. I hate it when people make these little claims. I don't think everything is up to somebody with a college degree, but I also hate people making these little claims about themselves, almost like they want street credit. And I wanted to get some some ideas I'd had about myself verified and just get checked out, You have a physical occasionally. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You're just kind of getting checked out. Kind of like an inspection on a car. So I was going to do that mentally. And the two I've checked here, they're hellholes. I've never seen anything like it. It's like, don't you understand that people are coming to you with mental issues and then you make them jump through hurdles and this and that? Just set up the appointment and let me come in. So it was a mess with both of those. Put you through hell just to try to get in. So that got delayed. And this is why, again, going to the other end of that spectrum, why I get mad at people when when they immediately refute everything a person knows about themselves physically or mentally. Because you can know some things without some professional telling you. And sometimes you have to. Because like that, you can't get in. What are you supposed to do? It'd be like being sick and being like, well, I can't get a doctor's appointment. I guess I'm not sick. Doesn't make any sense. But it just more and more, if people would get together on this, people argue so much about on the political spectrum. I mean, surely, I don't care who you voted for. This isn't right. I mean, you understand that, right? That this is not right. That somebody can just get buried in debt due to their teeth or some other physical issue. Years ago, I ended up with a broken arm, and I didn't have insurance at the time. Now, those bills are gone now. And yes, I am being vague for a reason on some of this stuff. But those bills are gone now. But the initial bills on paper totaled to be at least $35,000 for one broken arm. I mean, do the math on what even $15 an hour is. That's a whole year. So surely we can get together on this, right? What can be done about this? What's going on now can't continue. And these employers that are allowed to pretty much, they're easing towards just firing people for being sick. I mean, it's still not what they want to do. They'd really like to take you out back and shoot you properly. But that's what we're going towards. And they're allowed to do that. You have suffer any kind of issue to where you're not just a good workhorse, you're done. You're gone. And they want that anyway. See, the last employer, he kind of gave away the game. He's one of those guys that's too arrogant and too stupid to keep his mouth shut. He'd say the quiet parts out loud, like a certain orange somebody or a certain demented somebody. And he ended up, there's this meeting that he pulled, had everybody in there, and he was complaining that people were using the insurance too much. Essentially, that's what he was doing. Going to like the emergency room when they could have went somewhere else. And basically threatening to take the health insurance away. Just, oh, I mean, you know what you'd want to see if this was a TV show when somebody says something like that, right? I mean, first of all, there'd be a big TVMA over there in the corner. Seriously. Are you out of your mind saying things like that? But see, he gave away the game. That's just kind of the argument that I'm having here. They don't want you using it. They want you paying into it. They don't want you using it. Because that you end up being a liability. So if you get sick, they just want you gone. They'd rather just fire you. Be done with it. And there are some hardcore capitalists that are completely fine with that also. Whatever you need to do to profit, fine. But don't pretend like that's a Christian way to go. That's the spiritual and moral route. It's not. It's amoral. It's immoral. But I just kind of had to have a rant about that because of this tooth issue. And I don't have insurance with this job yet. But even if I did, both sides, this is going to cost a lot. $3,000-$4,000, I would guess. And then hope that it stays. Oh, and by the way, if you're curious about which probably a lot of celebrities have, a complete mouthful of all of it, just replace all of it, $25,000-$30,000. And you're paying the majority of that out of pocket. You know, what dental insurance pays is $1,000. That sounds like a lot. If you don't need anything with your teeth are pretty much fine. That'll work. If you need anything done, that's going to get ate up fast. Fast. The cost of any kind of medical treatment, that includes dental, and I'm assuming vision also. I don't know anything about that. My vision's 2010, so at least it was years ago. And I don't know about hearing or anything like that. But the cost of dental and medical, it's unhinged. It's insane. And I think the reason for that is because of the cost of schooling also. We have way too many people being doctors and dentists that are doing it for the money and not because it's something they want to do. I understand you want to make money also. You have to. And you want things in life, that's fine. I'm not a minimalist myself, even with this job. But the fact that you're only doing it for that and you just do not care about people at all, there's way too many of them. Way too many of them. And it's probably a lot of people who would care about their patients can't afford to go to college. And don't tell me about scholarships. That's not how that works. You get that, fine. Your little family unit still needs money. You can't do it. And then you have the school debt afterwards. You just can't do it. That many years not really making any money, that ain't gonna happen. You have to. You end up in debt, just buried in debt. You got this high-paying job now. It doesn't matter because you're buried in debt, absolutely buried. Which is another thing that the establishment wants. I think we've got to come together on some of this stuff. Because surely some of this is just black and white. The education thing, something's got to happen with that. The medical thing, something has got to happen about that. I don't care what you believe. There's got to be some kind of meeting of the minds here. And we got to figure out something. Because this is insanity. Surely we can agree to that. Surely there's enough morality. Somebody's not a actual cultist with capitalism. Some people are. That it's just massive profit, whatever opportunity. I don't know how they think that's still Christian or whatever else, but it's not. If anything, it would be satanic. But we've got to come together on some of this stuff. So I'm not saying all the other stuff doesn't matter, but I think we're focusing on too many, more flamboyant issues to where we're not concentrating on the really, really important, immediate, basic things that we can get along about. And if you look at it, I don't know, unless you can count Obamacare, which did some good to some people in the short term. It did. Not enough to really give any kind of credit if you compare the damage it did was about equal. So the only difference between Obamacare and just whatever else any other president did was they only did harm. He did harm and a little bit of good. It's not really enough. It's like everybody setting fire to a house and one guy is also flicking some water on it. Doesn't really count. But there's got to be something done about this. And surely we can get together about this. Surely we can. That and other things. And that's why part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing here, because I'm not one of these people yammering on about this stuff that is not right in the middle of it. I'm right in the middle of this fire. I can tell you, don't look at polls and all this other nonsense that it's kind of funny. You see these polls that you never voted on. I don't know how that works. Polls that people feel this way about that. And it's like, I never voted. How did that happen? So talk to somebody that's in it. And I am in it. So don't tell me about Trump's made this better or Biden was better at that or this and that. Ask someone. Oftentimes, I have the check stubs. I can tell you about the taxes. I can tell you about the tax returns. I can tell you about cost. And I can tell you that they're all the friggin' same. You consider how much money I paid in last year, and I got $170 back, which, by the way, was the most I'd gotten back in years, but it's a joke. That's a joke. For the whole year? So can we drop this weird political loyalty and talk to each other? Can we do that?